Each year, over 500,000 kids spend time in foster care across the US, and making sure they're well taken care of takes a village. I'm Erin Lindstrom, and this is Foster Care Aware, a production brought to you by Tidewater Friends of Foster Care. If you've had it on your heart to become a foster parent, a volunteer, donor, advocate, or just want to learn more, you're in the right place. This episode of Foster Care Aware is brought to you by Embrace Treatment Foster Care. Embrace, formerly known as National Counseling Group TFC, provides specialized foster home placements for children who have been removed from their homes for unforeseen circumstances. For children in treatment foster care to be successful, it's imperative that foster parents be supported, heard, and an active participant in the placement. At Embrace, they believe it's their responsibility as an organization to be just as supportive to their foster parents as they are to the children. Embrace's best foster parents come from all backgrounds, races, ethnicities, ages, sexual orientation, genders, and careers. The thing they all have in common is flexibility and the willingness to open their hearts, families, and homes to children who have been mistreated. Embrace is currently looking for more families who meet that criteria. If that's you, head to embracetfc.com and scroll down to the Becoming a Foster Parent button, or call 757-869-7555 for more information. Welcome back to Foster Care Aware. I'm Erin Lindstrom, and I am joined by Audra Bullock, the founder and director of Tidewater Friends of Foster Care.
Hi there.
And today we have two of TFFC's tutors with us. We have Angelina Hopkins and Rebecca Roberts. Yay. So this conversation I'm extremely excited for. To kind of kick us off, Audra, would you be willing to give us a little bit of an overview of the academic outcomes of kids inside of foster care?
Sure, of course. So as a group, unfortunately, foster children have some of the worst educational outcomes in the nation. By third grade, 80% of foster youth are behind reading at least one grade level, and we know that that's a pivotal grade. By 11th grade, only 20% are proficient in English and math. And as a group, for any child involved in foster care at any point in their life, only a little over half will graduate high school. That's 54%. And if they happen to stay in foster care through their 18th birthday, only 25% of those kids are getting GEDs or high school diplomas. And that compares to a general population, non-foster care peers, of over 90% in the state of Virginia. So the outcomes are abysmal. And, it's not surprising that given those statistics that, only 10% go on to a four-year college and only 3% graduate nationally. From the rest of the group, we have over 2/3 of our young folks that are aging out of the foster care system end up homeless, incarcerated, on welfare, or deceased within 4 years of exiting the system. It is tragic what happens. And a lot of this can be addressed through intensive interventions through a tutoring program, and that's what we've stood up. We have a tutoring program that's a very simple model. We hire private tutors like Becky and Angelina to go into the home 1 to 3 hours a week and tutor in whatever subject area is needed, and that's all the way from pre-K and pre-K 3. So we've got little bitty guys through college, and we'll tutor anything that these kids need, and we'll address one-on-one their challenges, their fears about education, and become really their educational advocates. So in this program's history, right now we have over 110 active tutors on staff to work with these kids. We've served over 335 kids in the foster care system regionally, and provided over 20,000 hours of individualized support. Yeah, it's an incredible program. It's a model that, we followed from Sierra Association of Foster Families. I got to give a shout out to Joseph over there, because he really hit the nail on the head. Is you've got to get at the root issue for these kids, and you've got to do it in a way that's meaningful. So you can't scrimp and save and try and do this on the cheap. It doesn't really serve these kids well. So we stood up a program that was almost identical to what he does, and we're one of a handful in the nation, and our success rates are incredible. Really not to be believed. The first year I thought, wow, we are so lucky. We only had a few number of kids, and this has got to be a fluke because we kind of cherry picked. And the next year, the results were even better. And the year after that. And so now our track record is 94% of the kids promote that are in our program, 85% pass all of the classes that they're tutored in. And that's irrespective of whether they are moving homes and school systems during the school year. And by the way, about 40% of the kids in our tutoring program do have those moves each year, and we're still passing most of our classes, and 95% of our seniors have graduated on time. That's on-time graduation. That's not a 4-year cohort like what that 90% that I said about the general population. So I'm very, very proud of this program. And the key is these two ladies that are with us today. It is their experience. It is their magic touch. It is them working with these kids in a way that you can't do in a class of 30 people. It's in a way that you can't do when you have tutoring in a library, right? Where you have even a small after school program. This is really individualized support. And for our kids, it means the world. And I know these ladies have success stories that are amazing to share with you.
Amazing. That the program is so incredible, and the outcomes obviously speak for themselves. I'm excited to kind of dive in. And Angelina, I'll start with you if that's okay. Can you tell us a little bit about tell us about your background. How did you get into tutoring, and what's kind of your connection to foster care that makes you choose to foster with TFFC? I'm sorry, I said foster. I meant to tutor with TFFC.
Well, I've had a career, completed my career in K-12 education, and I started tutoring for the local school divisions. And one day I met a tutor who was affiliated with your organization, and she kept saying, "Child, you have a story. You have something to give." And so she referred my name. And so I became affiliated with your organization. I do this for a reason, because it is my opportunity to, although I'm retired, to do things daily with my heart, because children know when you're connecting with them with your heart. It is a time for me to use all the time that I have for someone else, and to help children see the future, because all children want to be successful. And so I use this time to share my knowledge and what's in my heart when working with the children.
Wow, that is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Rebecca, I'd love to know a little bit too about your background. What brings you to TFFC, and why do you choose to work with foster youth?
Well, I also have a background in education. I've been a teacher for 29 years now in special education. And I've worked in every discipline there is, from English all the way to math, science, social studies. So it's been very heartwarming for me also. I got into it when I do summer schools every year. I'm a lone summer school teacher. So I actually had help a year before when we had summer school in person. And I worked with this woman that was a great, she taught me about this tutoring program. And I'm like, this sounds awesome. To be individualized with each student, I could really help out some students in this small setting with one-on-one, something I would love to do. And so she gave me the paperwork. I applied, I got in there, and then I've got these students that were just like sponges. They were begging for help socially, emotionally, and educationally. And so the tools that I've learned is really helping with each student that I get. And I've seen I have a student that I had math, and he caught on so quick. Asa caught on so quick. He now doesn't need my help in math at all. And so I connect with him to help him with English. And it's just so awesome to see these students flourish like they do with a little bit of help, a little bit of kindness, a little bit of love. And you can see them just getting something maybe they've not gotten ever. And that just feels good, not just for me, but to watch this student become their own and learn on their own. And that's the success you want to see. And when you're teaching 30 students, but you can actually see it every time you have this one-on-one. Yeah. And it's a great program. And I can tell you, I am learning even more through these students.
I'll jump in here, Erin, and say that, the model of one-on-one is something that just works. And there are a lot of initiatives out there to create a digital or computer-based tutoring program that emulates and can match what one-on-one can do. And they're not able to do it, frankly. It's just it's kind of beyond reach, because this individualized support with experienced teachers that have, not only special education backgrounds, but really a proven track record of working with kids that have challenges. I mean, these kids in foster care don't just have educational challenges. Sometimes they have behavioral challenges, and they're not willing to trust. And this body of tutors that we've been able to employ for this program, and I say employ because it is a fully funded program. It's not volunteer in any capacity, because I want to honor what our teachers are doing. It is a skilled profession. I want professionals. I want people that can really be held accountable and bring true academic skill sets to the table, because these children, frankly, deserve the very best, and they're so far behind that the very best is what it's going to take. And the fact that they can work one-on-one and make that connection, it moves these children forward, right? So they're, everybody's focused up here on this education piece, and then all of a sudden this relationship builds. And that trust component, when you're telling a child, hey, here's your mentor, bond with them, they're like, no, I don't think so. But if you're looking up here and the focus isn't on that relationship and it develops naturally, I think that's what really puts the wind in the sails, and these kids move mountains. Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate that so much. And I think as Rebecca was talking before and kind of talking about the relationship with her tutoring student, what I'm hearing in that is that you're focused on academics, but attachment healing has actually happened by really building that one-on-one relationship in an unforced way, but by the tutor consistently showing up, that child who's in the foster care system is actually being helped by seeing a healthy attachment like being formed, right? By someone showing up consistently that they can count on.
Right.
Amazing. So Angelina, would you be open to sharing with us a little bit about your experience and maybe even a story about a shift that you've seen?
Yes. Some kids, they come to the session with some reluctance, and some hide what they know. As soon as they discover that you're there to care, then they become eager and excited. I noticed that, as Rebecca shared earlier, sometimes they already know their work. So one approach that I maintain is listening and guiding them through the process, because most of learning, it is a process, problem solving. Most subjects are somehow, in some way, interconnected. So when kids get into biology, then they have to go back to some concepts that they have learned in mathematics. And I noticed that oftentimes my students enter the tutorial sessions all ready to share their work agendas for the week. I'm very impressed with how they have been able to operate and manipulate their learning resources as we have worked through the virtual platform. Now, sometimes I may have a little one who is a bit hesitant, and I know it goes back to that one-on-one really makes a difference. And sometimes, maybe in the classroom, students are directed to go to the reading group or the reading center. Well, when they come together with me, they may want to hear me read. They know that my time isn't divided with 18 or 20 more students. And sometimes just hearing my voice, my expression, my excitement, because a big part of reading and comprehension is learning the excitement of words and how sounds come together to make words, and words make sentences. And once, I'm thinking about my first and second graders, and even my third graders who may have some special needs. That is a major form of communicating. And once they see how the authors communicate within their textbooks, how they illustrate, artwork is just as important. Creativity. We're growing creativity in the students as well. And we're helping them to find and discover some of their inner joys and their inner talents that they have yet to realize.
Wow. That's incredible. And it just goes to show too how much, I think tutoring so many people, we often just think okay, books, grades, it's done. But the way that you speak about that and the depth of understanding and transformation that's occurring is really, really astounding. Thank you for sharing. Rebecca, would you be open to sharing a little bit about your experience and perhaps a story as well?
Well, yes, I've had quite a few students that socially wasn't ready to be boisterous or come out and talk during the sessions. And so we did concentrate on the work and the activities, and a relationship grew. And I could see kindness coming out in the student that was having difficulty with that. And talking with the foster parents, because this program really helps you out as a tutor, because you get to concentrate not only on the student, but get what's going on at home. The foster parents actually will let you know things are changing, or this date's really good and they enjoy this. And so it's really is a great relationship that you get. And I've had quite a few, and especially with some foster moms, and the relationship was so, which is a kind thing, but also it taught me so much about what the students need in foster care. And so I really wanted to make sure that I was there for them when I said I was going to be. And I could see them flourish and wanting to know and learn things that they weren't doing before. And really what I saw in one student, like I had said, Asa was just so great at of coming to the sessions. And then we concentrated on some of the algebra terms, some of the algebra things that he needed to learn. And he just started grasping it. It just happened. And then he didn't need me for that subject, which was awesome to see. And then we went right on to English. And the student, it's sort of this growth mindset they talk about now. The more you teach them in steps, and the more they feel good about learning, the more they want to learn like sponges even more. And I've seen this in a lot of the students that I tutor now. They start feeling good about themselves, and this growth mindset sets in, and they realize, oh, I can do it. I'm just like any other student. And I tell them, you're smart. You're so smart, you don't even know it. And this is something they don't hear. And this is something they need to hear. And then they start learning even harder subjects, even harder things that they haven't had to do before. It's just an awesome thing to see one-on-one. And you don't get this in education a lot of times. You don't get to see a student flourish socially, emotionally, educationally, and then even know their home life is going positive also.
I want to pull on a thread of that, because I think that is so important, Becky, that it's the self-confidence that these kids build that is really so important to the rest of their lives. It's not just the literacy, and that is extremely important, but that self-confidence helps them wherever they go. And it helps mitigate a lot of the behaviors, because these kids are chameleons of the best kind, right? What they do is they get in a class, and when they can't perform like what they feel like their peers can, or there any pressure on them, they shut down and start acting up. They are going to get themselves kicked out of class, and lots of foster children move. They move like at a rate 5 times their peers because of these behaviors, because it's a survival thing for them, right? They don't want to show that weakness. And when you can get at that self-confidence and, hey, I can do this, the behaviors start to subside. And so a lot of our strongest advocates are the foster parents who see the benefit of this to the whole child, not just the academic piece, the whole child in the home. I did want to also talk about COVID, because, Angelina was talking about the virtual component. We ran this program without missing anything but 3 days when COVID hit. We stopped tutoring for 3 days. We turned it around and went virtual. And my tutors have been incredible stewards of this, taking it from a one-on-one in the home to a virtual and making it really work. And we are really excited about getting back in the home too, because there's this video screen. We have video screen fatigue. It works well. It even is working for some of the little ones, but we are anxious to get back into the home.
It's amazing. For people who may be listening and are interested in tutoring, is that something that you're hiring for now?
Yeah, we always are hiring, and you can go to our website, tidewaterffc.org/tutoring, to learn more about the program and to apply to be a tutor. We have fairly high standards. We require that at some point you have a license, either you're a retired teacher or a current teacher, or that you have a specialized subject that we need for like a higher level kind of college student. But yeah, and if you wanted to support the program, because again, it's a fully funded program that costs more than half of our budget every year. This year, we'll spend almost $500,000 tutoring these kids. And for me, it is what I think is one of our most important investments in these children and their long-term future. But if you want to be a part of supporting that, you can go to our website and donate specifically to the tutoring program. And that is, again, tidewaterffc.org. If you need more information, want to talk to us about it, you can call me or Chuck Davis, our tutoring program coordinator, at 757-227-4187, or email us at info@tidewaterffc.org.
Perfect. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Angelina and Rebecca, for joining us for this conversation. It's so helpful. Like, it just brings life when I think about the program, but then to hear the stories and actually like have them illustrated and what's actually happening here, and really the importance of the academic, but also with the attachment underlying that. I just think it's brilliant. So thank you so much for your time and your efforts, and for showing up and doing this work that's so important.
Thank you, lady.
Thank you for the opportunity. I can't tell you how much I've grown because of these students.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
And a big thank you for listening. Foster Care Aware is all about getting the word out about how you can support the kids in care in whatever capacity works for you. And Tidewater Friends of Foster Care is here to support you through the journey. To learn more, head over to fostercareaware.org, where you can join our digital community of Friends of Foster Care and learn more about how you can provide a birthday or holiday gift for a child in care as one of our gift sponsors, stay in the know about upcoming trainings, and help meet the needs of current foster parents and youth as they arise. Whether you want to be a foster parent, volunteer, donor, or advocate, head on over to fostercareaware.org to learn more.